Hey, it's Scott from Marriage Architects, and I'm going to talk to you about the relationship discipline of vulnerability. So, I want you to remember this phrase: vulnerability creates connection. So, whenever you're feeling distant or you're feeling a disconnect from your partner, remember the relationship discipline of vulnerability. What does that mean? It means share your thoughts, share your feelings, share your emotions. A lot of times people don't do this because of fear. We get afraid of, I can't share what's inside. I'm afraid of how my spouse is going to react. I'm afraid if I share this, that they'll get defensive. I'm afraid that they'll think they'll judge me, that they won't accept me. That prevents vulnerability. But here's the thing: vulnerability creates connection. So if you want true intimacy in your relationship, in your marriage, you gotta have absolute vulnerability with each other. And the flip side of that is when your partner is being vulnerable with you, you have to accept that with a lens of acceptance, with an unconditional acceptance. If your spouse is being vulnerable, don't judge them. Don't take it personally. A lot of times, vulnerability is just emotion. And if you think about emotion is like the weather. Like, when a cloud goes by overhead, you just kind of look at it, you observe it. When you see the clouds go over your head, and let's say it's a sunny day, you go outside, you look around, you enjoy the warmth, you feel it on your skin, and then all of a sudden this dark cloud comes out of nowhere and just starts downpouring on you. That's the weather. And emotions are like weather. It would be insanity to go to the sky and say, what did I do? Why are you doing this to me? But that's what we do when our partner, when our spouse expresses emotion. But if you realize emotions are just like weather, you can observe them. They're not necessarily about you. Um, Even the person that's doing the emotion doesn't necessarily have to judge that, or be critical of that. Just observe it. Observe the emotion in yourself, observe the emotion in your partner. So when you're vulnerable, you create a safe place for sharing. Have a safe place for sharing. Create that environment in your relationship. If you do this consistently, your connection will go through the roof, and therefore your intimacy will too. So I challenge you to have absolute vulnerability. That's one of the relationship disciplines.